Hello and welcome back to Farming Simulator 22 on ballyspring. Right, so we're now on July day 2, and as you can tell by the weather, it's a scorcher. It really is a perfect day to do some maize silage, which is what we're going to do in this episode. That lamb is so loud. I actually walked over here just because of that. It's like it's lost its mum or something. It's just going crazy. Speaking of the lambs though, I mean, we've got loads, and we're at the point where we've got a lot of female lambs that are obviously going to stay on the farm and produce wool and all that stuff, but the males, even though we could do the same, we're not, because we're going to keep just females to obviously breed, do wool, and then eventually, you know, the male lambs that we get, we're going to sell for meat. Basically, we're going to sell them as if we were simulating lamb on the market and all that kind of stuff. So the feed as well is not going down at all. It's really maintaining quite well with the grazing mod that we've got on. Let's just jump over to animals, you can see. So yeah, it's pretty much content. I mean, I have checked this out just to see how it would go. I turned autosave off the game. I then put times 5,000, I think it was, and kept going forward and forward and forward until I basically got a full sheep pasture. So I didn't enable overcrowding or anything like that. I just checked to see what it'd be like, and then it started going down, and I think it was getting close to about probably about 75% of the capacity level that we can have in this sheep pasture. And then at that point, I was starting to have to add feed to the pasture. So that's a good sign. It just means that you could leave sheep out in the field pretty much all year round, and if they've got enough grass, they can graze away happily. You don't need to keep maintaining on them animals, unlike the cows, for example, who do require quite a lot of manual feeding. Right, so before we get into the silage, because there's a few things I want to talk to you about on that front. Did want to do it the automated way, but there is a few problems. But before I get into that, I did change this gate. Now, it's one of them things that I mentioned in the last episode, which is while I'm playing, you make a change or you do something on the map, and it's not obvious until you read it in a comment, and then it just stands out to you like, how did I not see this? So I was putting the gate going this way, and then people were saying just twist it round, and it's spot on. Works a treat now, and it's not in the way. And as you can tell, I also sorted out the clipping in here on both sides. So I did go into, I basically removed this building, placed it down just a little bit better than I did the first time, and then on that clipping that I had, I went into GE and just shifted this building just a touch over. You can even tell that I had the light that would have been on this side of the wall, and that's now going to need sorting out, so I can remove that in game. There might actually be a few, yeah, there is. So you can actually see how much I've shifted it across. I wonder if there's another one. Put any more in. I think there's one on that wall, but it should be fine. So there's just, it looks like it's just two lights that I need to sort out there, which isn't too bad. And you can tell as well that I'm still got quite a good gap, and I'm not clipped into anything there as well. So definitely sorted that out, which I'm glad of. But it's all pretty much going to be something I have to probably redo again, because of the fact I'm going to, at some point soon, go onto the update, and when that happens, I'm going to have to make these same changes. So it doesn't really matter too much right now. But yeah, I think it works better. I really do. I like this layout. It's definitely easier to get around. And if we do upgrade our tractor, which is something I do aim to do at some point when we get the money, I might even use the new loan mod that I was showcasing, and see how that works out. Because obviously we can, if we have a good harvest, for example, make some money from maybe some milk or selling some lambs or whatever it is, we can always just repay, like do this special redemption option, which just reduces our term, but then we're going to obviously pay the monthly repayments, which is, I think we can do that and then buy a tractor that way, just to see how that works, because I actually really like that loan system mod. Right, so let's get into this maize silage then, because it's going to take some time, but also I'm really excited to do this. I was really looking forward to using like auto drive, a bit of courseplay and all that stuff, but I actually think it's not going to work out the way I wanted it to. There's just too many problems. First problem I'll show you is I was hoping to use a tractor, for example, doesn't matter which one, but I was going to use this Ford 7610 with this tool on, and then use the courseplay feature, which is really nifty and works a treat, but for some reason on this map, just because of it is quite tight and objects are close together, it's just causing an issue where it's colliding into objects. Now I do wish that courseplay had just a bit more of a sophisticated way of doing collision detection. Auto drive on the other hand works really well. You can change it, you can change how the collision detection works and all that stuff, but on this it's just problematic, and I've tried everything that I can possibly think of. So I'm going to give you a bit of an example. You can see that I've already tried to set up, you can see that white line there is where it's detecting the silo bunker. Now this automatically detects if you've got the equipment on the back of the tractor, so something like a leveler or even a compactor or anything like that. This will work with courseplay, and on most bunkers that I've used on certain maps, it's worked a treat. But for some reason, because it's so tight, this yard and where the bunker's placed, it's not going to work. So we're going to have to do the compacting ourselves, but I will show you. So the way I'm going to set it up is you find a park position. I always usually park the tractor where I'd like it to be. So for example, a good park position here would probably just be, because you're thinking if I'm coming in carting, also if I'm using auto drive, it's really important that you make sure it's properly out of the way instead of keeping it in the bunker. And you do have the option to park in the bunker. Say if it's a massive bunker and you've got like enough room for a tractor to just move out the way when it senses. But I think this spot here is pretty decent. It's not too bad. An even better place would be just at the side over here, because it's not going to swing in and hit anything. So for example, if I just placed it here, that's technically parked up. So what I can do now is just put park position, try and simulate where my tractor is. The silo position, it already knows that it's the silo there. We can put it further back if we want to, it doesn't really matter. And then the direction into the silo is usually the direction that the tool's facing. So if you've got the tool on the back, you're going to reverse him. If you've got the tool on the front, you're going to drive forward in. So we're going to do the reverse part to this. And waiting for the unloader is when, if it senses auto drive, for example, coming up to the point where it's about to tip into the bunker, then it will go and park either in the bunker or at the park position. We're going to set it at the park position because the fact our bunker isn't big enough really for that kind of situation. And then all we need to do at that point is just start the job. And as you can see, it works a treat right now, right? It will happily just do its thing. I think it does technically just slightly collide with the rear end of this, but I think it's because the bunker wall's curved. But as you can see, that worked all right. It was fine, and it goes forward. Now, the problem I find is not the park, it's the fact that it wants to always drive forward more than it has space for, as you can tell. So now it's going to turn, it's always going to hit that post, every time it hits that post. Because what it's trying to do is, let's just quickly just stop this so it doesn't burn out any fuel. What it's trying, well, even though I've just left the engine on. Yeah, basically what it's trying to do is, it's trying to do up and down stretches here and compact. So if it does this, it's then going to move over here, for example, and do that again. And then move across and do that again, and so on. It'll just keep working and working and working as you keep putting in more maize silage, more chaff, whatever it is you're working on, really, grass silage, whole crop, whatever. The problem is, like I said, it wants to go forward more. So ideally what it should do is just get to this point here and then make a bit of a turn, level it off and come back again. But it's the way that Courseplay's set up for it, it needs to go forward more and then come back in. So the only way we can make this work on this map is if I delete that building out and delete this building out, so there's no collisions. So because of that, we're not going to be able to use that function. However, it can be used on other maps, and if we do move over to something else in the future, because obviously Bally Springs is a really nice map, but there is a few good maps coming out, so at some point I will be switching a Let's Play over, because I always want to try and always have a Let's Play. It's traditionally something I've normally done. And I have got my Survivor Play series, which I am going to go back to, but at the moment I'm just focused on the farmland, and this just had a little bit of a break on it because obviously I did it pretty much from the start of FS22, and I just wanted to take a bit of a break on it, a bit of a pause, and then go back to it after and just focus on the farmland. Now I'm on Court Farms because I just really enjoy that series, really enjoy making it, and I know from the feedback I get from everyone enjoys watching it. So you know, my main focus should go into something that everyone's finding the best for them, because then that, you know, it just makes sense for the channel really, and makes sense for everyone that's watching. So it will come back, that's a definite fact. But in the meantime, we're on ballyspring, so let's just focus on that. Another feature I wanted to use was auto drive. Now, I have tested it out because I just predicted with the collisions on the hedges that we were going to have an issue, and I was spot on, absolutely spot on. It's temperamental to say the least, and that's just because mainly the way the forage harvesters work with obviously using auto drive is you can either set the offset to the left, to the right, certain distance behind, and every time I've done that I've tried to get it as close as possible to the rear end of the forage harvester, but then Coursplay's not driving enough or moving, it's not sensing the fact that auto drive is there, so even when it's behind it's not close enough, it won't tail me properly. When it gets to a certain point it still technically wants a bit of an offset as well. It's just colliding with the hedges, it's colliding with the fence, it's just not going to work. But I did test it out, as in where I was driving the forage harvester, and eventually, it took a long time, this did, eventually it got a full load, and then it drove all the way around and dumped into the bunker really well. So that's not an issue. But I think the most efficient way to do this is to set Courseplay doing the forage harvester, which is a shame because I wanted to do the forage harvesting, and then we do the carting and we do the compacting. Until we're on a different map where we've got no collisions on the hedges, no collisions on, you know, just in bigger fields in general, I'd say, because obviously it's quite hilly, and, you know, I like this map for that reason. It's quite unique, but I don't think it's very good for automated systems like Courseplay and auto drive, as we've seen with, you know, the mowing that I've been trying to do and some of the other jobs. It just, you know, it collides. It can be done. I've been using it a lot on the series, but it just makes sense to just do it the way that's going to work the best, most efficient, and obviously the least amount of time. So with that being said, let's jump over to the store, because I have leased out the perfect equipment for this, and it was the cheapest, so we have tried to save a bit of cash doing this. So if we just jump over, we're in the wrong menu first, there we go. Jump over to here, we'll see over here, I've leased out this perfect mod. I have to say, this really impressive mod, because if you're trying to play realistic in the sense that you haven't got much cash but you want to buy your first forage harvester, this Class Jaguar 695 is perfect for it. It's not massive, it's perfect for the size fields we've got, but also, you know, you can see that it's only about 60 grand because of the fact it's an older version. So I've leased this out. We're going to use Courseplay on this. I actually think this will be perfect. We're going to put some Silage additive in just to test that out as well. But let's get this back. Let's get this out in the fields, because yeah, it's not too bad. Like I said, it's leased out, and the header is. It doesn't go too fast. I think it does about 6 miles an hour, this header, in the field, so we should be alright with that. But I just really like it. I think it's such a, yeah, really well made and impressive mod, because of the fact that it's obviously older, so it suits people that are on a tighter budget, but also it just looks really good as well. I think it's we've got some really good mods like that at the moment, where the class old harvesters, now the old forage harvesters, we've even got the old balers. I think it's just perfect, really good, because it's more likely to see, you know, some of these on a farm if you're using them yourself, unless you're a contractor, because the contractors usually come in with the high-end stuff, which is the most common way from my experience in the UK. Nowadays, forage harvesting is done by contractors. They come in and do it. Most of the time, the farmers probably will do the mowing and maybe a bit of rowing, or most of the time I'd say probably mowing and tedding, and then the contractors come in, do the rowing there and then, and they also do the forage harvesting there and then. So yeah, mowing and tedding, especially if you've got some dry crop and you want to, or dry like grass, and you want to just dry it out a touch before it goes into the bunker, so it's not too sticky and all that stuff. It really does depend, but yeah, I think this is perfect for us, and eventually we could try and buy this ourselves, because with it being only 60,000, it probably makes more sense to buy it outright and get the most out of it than leasing it and having it on a constant lease, because we're only going to use it for that one period in a year, so it doesn't really make sense to have it leased all year round and then keep paying as well if we did it just once every 12 months, for example, in the game, because then we'd just be paying that initial fee multiple times. We may as well purchase it outright for 60 grand at some point. And even, you know, if we see it on offer and we're lucky and it's second hand, just get the deal while we can. But definitely when we move over to the new save, so at the end of this year in game, I am going to buy this field. Definitely going to buy this field. I don't know how I'm going to afford it, but I'm going to buy the field, and we're going to do potatoes on the left, and we're going to have another grass field on the right. I really think doing potatoes is a good idea. So we'll go down that route, because we can use it, you see, as well for the feed for the cows. I'm going to have to go back up to the main yard just to pick up some silage additive, but then we'll get back out. Probably the first field we'll do is the small one. We'll get the core set up, we'll get into the trailer, which I've got hooked up to the Valtra. I've fueled all the Valtra up, it's cleaned, ready to go, and we're going to get some maize silage in that bunker. It's a big bunker in the size of the capacity it can hold for the size fields we've got, so it's probably going to look a bit strange, I think, by the end, because we're not going to have much going on in there. Yeah, it's just going to look a bit bare, but we'll actually pick up quite a bit at the same time. So maybe we could switch over to doing grass silage. Do you know what? We could even expand at some point. Get a second bunker, and one that means we can actually use these features a little bit easier, because we're not going to collide so much. Especially the coarse blade compacting one, because that is such a time saver, it's such a help. He's actually just doing the job for you whilst you're going and collecting and bringing it in, and yeah, it just saves a lot of either. Because compacting at the end can be quite a repetitive task if you're doing it yourself. So I'll go get this sorted out. I'll get it all ready to go. Some silage additive in there, and then I'll meet everyone in the field ready to go and start getting this crop in. Right, so we're nearly ready to go. Like I said, we're in the Valtra. We've got this Donnelly trailer on the back. I have increased the capacity of this. I'm not going to lie, I have. It's about 35 or 45. I can't remember which one I increased it to. But yeah, I find it easier, because obviously with the hauling silage, it is quite, a lot. And we're not going to double up. I would have initially, if I was on a bigger map, for example, or more space on the turns, or even no collisions on the hedges, I would have had two going. Probably one, maybe Courseplay running the forage harvester, auto drive doing one of the carting, I do another one, and then just and then going in between. I think that would have been good. We could have even set up two through auto drive, and then forage harvester and Courseplay, and everything automated. It can happen, but yeah, you just need the right map. Right, so I have got crop damage on at the moment. We're going to see how we get on. If it gets too much, we're going to have to turn it off, just because it just depends. It's like this vehicle. I need this to start from the first waypoint. So we're going to set that up now. But I know it's not going to do crop damage, but I would. So it's... and I'm hoping it's not in a bad place and I can just get through and just do a little bit, maybe. What are you doing? Okay. That is strange. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why it's not. I mean, I'm definitely close enough, so that's a weird one. So let's do this ourselves. Does it need to be even closer? Or did it get stuck? I think it might have got stuck. So if that is the case, then what we're going to have to do is just recalculate this course. I think that's what it was. I'm hoping that's what it was. And we're going to have to bring it in a bit. So negative increases, yeah, positive is going to bring it in. So hopefully now it won't be too close and get stuck. So we definitely don't want that. And I think what's going to happen here now is I'm going to have to turn off crop destruction for the first pass, because it's obviously not sensing that I'm close enough, which is, yeah, it might be the way that it's set up on the pipe on this forage harvester. That might be why it's cheaper, who knows. So yeah, let's go to crop destruction. We want to turn that off. And if you just move out of the way, buddy, there we go. We can try our best to do this. I mean, weirdly, it's following my tractor. So it really does want me to be further up, which is a bit of a strange one. But not the prettiest thing in the world to start off with, but we're bringing in fresh maize. That's the main thing. That's the main thing. I'm trying to sync up here. There we go. Now, obviously, when it's done this first headland, we can just crack on then at that point. There is no problem at all at that point. I'm hoping now I can just try and give it some space to do this corner. This is where the problems lie with the courseplay in. Yeah, this is where the problem lies, courseplay. I mean, you think now that it'd automatically sense that the pipe's there, just move it backwards a little bit. That must be the way the mod's set up. It must be, because I'm sure the base game forage harvesters don't have that problem. I mean, this is a very strange thing. It's like it wants me in a exact spot every time, but you obviously can't do that. And yeah, so not entirely sure why courseplay is messing about like this. There we go. We're just gonna have to get through this first one, aren't we? This first headland on both fields is going to be a bit of a nightmare. We're probably going to leave a bit because we've obviously brought the field in, which isn't too bad. We can work with this, hopefully. But this is the way it is sometimes with courseplay on maps that are like this, and yeah, the cornering's just where the problem lies, I think. Really doesn't like it. Come on. Come on, courseplay. There you go. Keep going. Keep going. I mean, it probably sensing as well that my tractor's there and it's struggling to figure out can it turn and all that. There we go. We've got to go stretch now. Go. See, we're bringing it in. So we're already at 20,000. This is not too bad. Just hope that we can get that first pass done, definitely, before we start moving over, because it just means that I can start driving in that pass and I can turn crop destruction back on, because I do like to play with that on, because obviously, you know, I will be doing some serious damage right now. There we go. Somehow, I think it's weird because I'm like going too fast but too slow. If I go to 5, I'm going too slow. 6, I'm going too fast, so it must be like 5.5 miles an hour that thing's running, which it should be doing about 6. Should be. Things should now become a lot easier. Now, I'll just leave crop destruction off, just because I know I'm going to have the same problem going into the other field. It just saves me going back into the menu. Yeah, I've missed a bit of the maize around the sides, though. So I'm running at 6 miles an hour. Let's see if we keep spot on now with him. And it should be easier going around the corners with us being on the left-hand side. But yeah, we're bringing in some maize. That's the main thing. Definitely needed some maize silage. I think after that point then, we've probably picked up all our feeds that we need. We've got the maize, we've got the whole crop. And we've got plenty of grass silage. And hay, by the way, we did some hay in the last episode in that field, but I have left it out in the field just because it's a nice warm day. We don't have to worry about rain. And we are waiting pretty much for August day 1 for us to mow the rest of the grass. Yeah, it's important we get that hay in, because that's what stopped me doing some TMR mixes. The cows were fine. They went through another day with me not needing to put any feed in, so that's good to see. Don't go ahead too much, mate. It's weird now because the pipe's at that end. It's at the rear, so it's like it's moving to where it needs to fill up. That's a strange one. That is a strange one. But we're getting there. Very close, 98%. I honestly think that's the mod. It's got to be the mod. We're having issues with the pipe. But anyway, we're there. We've hit the target. So let's go dump this in. 45,000 litres, which isn't bad at all. And the tractor so far's not having any issues hauling this. We'll make a bit of a shortcut. We'll go across the field. We may as well. It's been chopped anyway. And we'll go and dump it in. I mean, it just goes to show, if we've picked up nearly 50,000 litres and we've done one headland pass, maybe nearly, well, pretty much 2. I know we've missed some bits there, so we're going to have to try and tidy that up the best we can. I think we've done alright. I really do. Pick up a decent amount here. We can make, you know, the bulk of our feed mixes maize silage. So we'll probably tip in the middle. See if we can use this while we've got no hay in it, just to make our life easier. Ideally, we'd use the same, like, reversing angle as the one that AutoDrive set up to do, which is it kind of goes in that patch there and then reverses round. But we should be alright as long as we don't leave. As long as we don't leave the Ford in the way, we should be good. But it's going to be a pain to compact this. It really is. At least there's no collision on that. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. I wonder if any's gone through that wall. No. No, that's pretty good. It's a big bunker, isn't it? It really is. A massive bunker. There we go. First load in. I'm sure there'll be plenty more left to do. Like I said, it usually takes quite a while to do forage harvesting, but it always pays off because you can get, you know, quite a lot of silage. But just so the video isn't too long, I'm going to stick in a bit of a time lapse now and get this, you know, get a few more loads done, and then if needed, I might do a bit of a montage if we can get some good shots. It really does depend. I mean, it would have been better if I could do AutoDrive and Courseplay for that, but we should be alright. Let's just try and get as much of this field and the next one done as possible.
This road, yeah.
Right, there we go. That was fun, but definitely a bit of a challenge at times. I mean, without crop destruction being turned off, it would have been a nightmare. I'm just going to say that now. Not ideal, because I'd rather have it on. The first field I did in the time-lapse, I could have done that better. Could have swung around and gone from the other side. But the problem I was having, I was trying to be realistic for the trailer, because obviously it's got this side part well, it's looking at the right now. So basically the forage harvester is supposed to put in the fresh maize and hit against that, and then it drops in. I was thinking, if I go around the other side, even though I'm not driving over the crop, I'm not hitting that. And then I thought, well, it's probably better to not drive over the crop. So in the second field, I did it probably the best way. I mean, it's still a game at the end of the day, but I'd just, yeah, if we can get probably auto drive, courseplay all working together on a bit of a wider map, a little bit more forgiving, then we can get it spot on. But overall, I'm actually happy. We've got 3,460... Yeah, we got 346,000 litres in here. Now, I think I have lost a little bit. Probably not much, but like maybe 20,000 in between probably these walls, like this a bit that's dropped through. Because it kind of doesn't add up to what I put in. It's a little bit shy, but it's still a good chunk of maize. And the really good thing about this is the mod we're using, which is I think it's called the Bunkers Utility mod. I should know that because I put it in my 25 list. My best mods, but what it does is it just allows me to add on to this. So when this is compacted and fermented, next time round when we do silage, which is obviously going to be a bit of a strange one because I'm obviously updating the new save, but I'll make sure I have the same amount of silage in there fermented exactly the way it was when we switched over. I'm going to have to do a lot of work behind the scenes to get it like that, but we're going to do it exactly the way it should be done. Just carry on basically from where we left off. But say I've got 200,000 litres left of maize silage, and I open the bunker back up and then do another couple of cuts in the next year, for example, we can add on to it and we can just keep moving it out, because I don't think we're ever going to use, I'm hoping so anyway, because we've got whole crop and grass silage, we're ever going to use more than we're making. And if that is the case, this will just keep filling up and filling up and filling up. Take a bit of time. I don't know if we'll ever get it full to the max, because I don't know how long I'm going to be on ballyspring, but we'll give it a good go. I tell you that, we definitely will. But I haven't compacted it. It is going to be quite a repetitive task that I'm going to do off camera. But at the start of the next video, I'll make sure this is compacted. I've put the cover on it. It's fermenting, and we'll get working probably on the hay, and I will move over to like August day 1, because there's nothing else now except the soybeans. But the soybeans, if I remember, shouldn't be ready until, I think it's October or September. Hopefully it's September actually, but I don't know if it is. No, well, yes, it is September. So hopefully it will be September, if not October. So we can do some hay in August, move over to September, get them soybeans in, figure out the best time to sell. I might not even sell it and then switch over to the new save. Just depends, best time to sell. I mean, we can have a quick look, can't we, just to get an idea, but I don't think it is around the time that we harvest. Yeah, so we're going to have to wait till the next year in June. So we'll definitely switch over, just have it in storage, and then we'll sell it. But I'm hoping, like I said, after the hay, we can then move over to the new save. But definitely in the next episode, we're going to tackle 147, 144, and 148, and we can get them chopped. And then we'll have, some little tasks to do while waiting for the soybeans. Obviously, a bit of fert spreading in these fields. But I don't know if I'll do any more to these fields now, knowing that I'm going to go to a new save, because it probably means that I have to do less work. Maybe more work at the start of the new save when we're recording again and doing some more videos, but less work in between, because we can just leave it in a state where it needs nitrogen, and it'll probably just need nitrogen anyway when we move over. But yeah, so all 4 of my grass fields will need nitrogen, same as these 2 fields now. Like all 3 of these fields, the whole crop silage you can see is a bit of a weird one. 142 and 151 is where we've just done the maize, and then obviously these are just going to be pretty much standard. Don't need any, well, they need nitrogen, but we don't need it for the soybeans. So while we're in this menu, let's have a quick look, shall we? First thing we're going to do is look at the yield. Now, I did notice that I was picking up a lot more off the crops than I have with the grass, which is, makes sense, I guess. Hoping that'll be different on the new save, because obviously we'll have a different type of field, soil type, or kind of a mixture of everything, really, I imagine. So yeah, 142, you can see that we've not done too bad there. That's not a bad yield at all. environmental score has probably stayed about the same, but this one I think has gone up. I'm sure it has. So that's good to see, but I think this is actually a chunk. Yes, it is. You can see this is all this combined. So even that field there, so we're having a negative effect on that because I've kind of modified that field. I wish if you took the field out, it'd notice it, so it didn't take it into account. But it does. That's not an issue, though. I mean, we've still got a decent score, really. Let's just get rid of that. So we're at 10%. So that's not bad. We need to try and get it to 10% again, though, because I don't know if I can get the environmental scores the exact same is what we're going to leave off. We're probably going to go back down. But we'll see. We'll see how we can get it. I mean, ideally, because we've worked hard, we deserve to sell the soybeans at the 10% increase. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But overall, not bad. I have actually enjoyed that. I do like doing silage in the bunker. It's just, yes, a lot of work, especially when you're doing single player. I actually like how it's turned out. It is actually as well. It's also quite a level spread there. I've done well alluding to them. I was separating into like 3 sections, left, middle and right, basically. Just rotating through. So yeah, overall, pretty decent. We've now got maize silage, just need it to ferment. All crop silage, probably nearly fermented, I guess. Very close, if not, and grass silage. So we've got all the feed that we need for the cows. Get that hay in, and then we shouldn't have any issues feeding these cows. It's just when they start springing out more of them, and we've got more calves to feed that turn into milkers. It's going to be a challenge then, it really is. But we should pay off with the amount of milk we get in return. And as soon as we start bringing in that milk with the Maize Plus, I know the money flies up. And at that point, we really can start investing in some better kit. But on that note, I am going to leave the video there. So thanks for watching. Really do appreciate it every time. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give the video a thumbs up because that does help me out on YouTube. And if you're new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more videos just like this one on Farming Simulator.